In the last 12 months, consumers have spent nearly $1 trillion at restaurants and bars, according to the US Census Bureau. Despite this insane number of transactions, most restaurants don't know how many diners they serve, if they come back, or how frequently they visit. Welcome to the Restaurant Growth Show podcast. We'll talk about how restaurants can use customer data to grow their business, plus a whole lot more. This is episode 4. Hey, it's Gordon, and this is the Restaurant Growth Show podcast where we talk about how restaurants can use technology to boost their sales. We've got a lot to talk about in this episode, but first, let's introduce our guests. First, we have Jose Albas, co-founder and chief growth officer at Modern. With more than 25 years of online marketing experience, Jose has successfully founded and operated companies in software and hospitality. Jose's passion is to continue to build technology to help restaurateurs grow their businesses. Next, we have Alex Cook, VP of Sales and also a co-founder at Modern. Alex's experience in the hospitality industry spans 30 years, including 16 years selling POS solutions throughout North America. Alex's deep understanding of consumer behavior led him to pioneer hospitality mobile ordering solutions. Lastly, who am I? My name is Gordon. I am the resident digital marketer at Modern. I run a digital marketing program called 90 Days to Success, where I teach restaurateurs how to sell their food online. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Great.
Doing awesome, Gordon.
Awesome. Who's doing what? Is anybody going to Rifflandia this weekend?
Yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
Maybe one of you if you behave.
If I behave. What am I doing wrong?
Maybe. I have an extra wrist.
An extra wristband. Good stuff.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. So I know there are a lot of ways to approach collecting, aggregating, and using customer data to grow your business. But today I want to narrow our focus and specifically talk about dynamic pricing and how it relates to data. For those who are unfamiliar with the term, dynamic pricing is a pricing strategy that enables restaurants to be more profitable by taking a data-driven approach to pricing. With physical menus, this was virtually impossible, but now with delivery platforms, first-party ordering systems, digital menu boards, and QR code ordering, restaurants are able to dynamically price at scale. Chipotle is a great example of a success story using dynamic pricing. In their spring earnings report, they credited pricing as one of the reasons why they saw major growth over the last year. So Alex, let's begin with you. Why should restaurants use dynamic pricing?
Well, let's take a look at previously we looked at the point of sale systems as the tool to be able to gather information on how our business is going to operate, right? So we got the sales information, we have the sales mix, but one thing we don't have is we don't have any customer data, unless you're using like a loyalty program. So now when we look at all these different tools, if we can bring this into some sort of report that allows us to be able to identify who our customers are, where they're coming from, even their age groups. Now we have a better way to identify where we want to put some of those marketing dollars and initiatives, or even how to price certain items. So certain items might be priced at different times during the daytime than they are, say, at the evening as we're coming into a closing. But I can actually send a message out to let everyone know that between 7 and 9 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday night, which are your slow nights, we're going to offer a discount to get bumps in the seats, or to get people ordering online, or to get them to order delivery. So we can use this information a lot more powerfully than we could before, because we didn't have it. Now we have the data to be able to make smart decisions.
Alex, is this an opportunity as well to reduce, say, food waste?
Yeah, I mean, one of our corporate clients, they run probably one of our busiest as far as the number of transactions. They get up to 50,000 transactions a month going through the system, but there's no money exchange. So all the food is included in their services. Now, in this case, how they use our system and our reports is to identify what food is being sold at what time of the day. So now they can have greater purchasing power and use that to their benefit to help reduce their costs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a
Yeah,
ton of
that-
sense, actually.
yeah.
Jose, what other benefits does this
Yeah.
method of pricing offer operators?
I mean, there's a myriad of them. To elaborate a little bit on Alex's is their type of operation is very specific, and it changes by day of the week and time of the day. Therefore, for there, it's really important to optimize uh, and forecast what they need for those peaks and all those movements. Just the nature of their operation. So the visibility that data gives them to make smart decisions and schedule supply accordingly has resulted in a very minimal amount of waste. Now, even before going too far into the technology, because I can go into that rabbit hole happily, the one thing that comes to mind is one that traditionally the menu gets printed, which is a very slow process and very expensive. You need the covers, all this stuff, like just incredibly old, needless to say. And then when you see in the case of the strategies that they use to minimize waste and maximize the use of the inventory that they have even on a daily basis, we have things like programs like the student the burger and beer half price after 9, right? That type of thing. Yeah, it's nice, but I can guarantee you there's still a lot of waste, right? Now, then, so waste is one of the pieces. Another one is the whole maximizing profits, because in the balance of offer and demand, you're able to play with technology in every single channel with a different price, and even at a different time of the day, have different specials. Like another nice one is the combos, the lunch combos, right? So when you with technology, you're actually able to and some tools like modern, where you're able to schedule pricing throughout the day, the week, and the time that you need, right? Which allows for offers that appear, disappear, the prices that change depending on the channel, and why not. So it is very important, because when you have a third-party delivery company that is charging you a certain amount, and you may have done a deal with this other one, you want to make sure that, again, you maximize and optimize the whole pricing structure that you have, and then allow for learning what those margins are, so that you start driving to through the channels that actually give you the biggest profit, to compensate for the cost that you're having in those most expensive ones, right? Then at the end of the day, you can actually bring back those traditional programs, like the half beer and burger, but in a digital way at any time you want, which is another huge advantage. You're not depending on the 9 p.m. You actually could be like, oh my god, you know what, we're running out of this, but we're it's not going to be balanced with the other part in the inventory. Let's quickly do a promotion on that half price right now. The rest of the day, publish it. You publish that, you get people driven in. Like there's a many possibilities.
Well, I was going to ask you a question, Gordon, because you work directly with our clients and especially with their marketing team, their webmaster, and we take a look at dynamic pricing, but even the digital menu. So when you're dealing with and working with some of the webmasters, what I see is when I go to a website, a lot of these restaurants, you'll have in one tab, you'll have menu, and then another tab, you'll have online ordering. And my question is, why would you have a separate tab for a menu that is static? You have to go through a webmaster. The prices are changing regularly. Menu items themselves are going to change. You'll add items, you'll delete items, and instead use your menu tab that takes you directly to your online ordering link. So now you have live real-time menu pricing and messaging. So you use the landing pages as your communication tool. And the other benefit is now anybody who goes to look at the menu, the likelihood of them actually placing an order is greater than if they just went to look and explore the menu items themselves. And going a step further, they could register, be incentivized, and download the app. So now it's on my phone. So I think a lot of webmasters are still maybe short-sighted or not looking at the whole picture as to how this could actually be your menu tab as well as your online ordering solution.
Yeah, you make a lot of really good points there. And actually I just got through a meeting with one of our clients, and he's their digital marketer. And I could see the light bulb starting to turn on when I was explaining how quickly it was to be able to update your menus, update your landing pages. But in terms of the website, I think that's still another channel of dynamic pricing. It may be a little bit more, a few more clicks to go through and update those, but there's obviously tools out there that can help automate that process. But back to what Jose was talking about, and I wanted to ask, are we witnessing the death of the physical menu?
What's the use? Maybe you just print. Maybe if you want to have something printed, you have it, instead of having the price there, now you have it with images, with descriptions, with like a fun thing, and then something else, right? I think that there's the possibilities, maybe not the death, but maybe the transformation.
Well, I'm just thinking with the state of inflation and supply chain issues, cost of goods are fluctuating almost on a daily basis. I mean, pretty much on a daily basis. Why wouldn't I go completely digital as a restaurant and react to those cost of goods as they're changing on a daily basis, and to maximize my margins? I'm failing to see the reason why I would have a physical menu.
Let's ask our audience, why wouldn't?
Someone
Well,
right in.
I got a good story, and it's kind of like leads into this. But Jose was there, but we went to a pub, and we got the menu. It's quite large, and the print was very small. So I asked the server, I said, "Do you have an old guy menu?" And she said, "Old guy." I said, "Yeah, one that I can read." And she came out with a menu that was 3 times bigger, so I could read it. I said, "Yes, that's perfect." Well, when you have a digital menu, of course, I could just choose whatever font I need, so I could also read it. So it has more than just one plus. There's several benefits to be able to have a digital menu.
I couldn't believe that was happening.
Nostalgia, and I can honestly say, as a guest, when I go into a restaurant, as used to going to my phone or looking on a digital board for menu items, I am very used to that, and I have no problem doing it. I do kind of like having a physical menu, flipping it over, playing around with it, sharing it back and forth across the table. But if I'm an operator, what's the point, really? There are so many advantages to being able to price your menu items and change your menu items at the click of a button, especially across all of the different channels. I'm really, really struggling to see why any owner wouldn't be completely digital. I don't know.
I think just to add on that, Gordon, is the goal is always to take care of the guest. And so you've got the QR code for the generation that wants a QR code, and that's really, I don't have to wait for a server. I have my menu is right there. But you're always going to have some people who prefer a printed menu, and it doesn't matter if it's different generation. But I think as a restaurateur, it's important to make sure you take care of your client. And if that's what it means, is to have a paper menu as well as a digital menu, then that's what it takes, right?
I mean, there's conflict there, though.
You have to be prepared. And I'll give you an example. I was at an airport, and the only way you could order was QR code. And there was a couple people who just said, "Yeah, I don't have it on my phone," or didn't understand the technology, so they walked out. I would hate to ever lose a customer because I didn't have a backup, is what I'm saying. And so the backup is a paper menu. Here you go. That's not going to work for you, but we do have options for you, right? And that's called customer service. We always have to remember that hospitality is a service industry, and our job is to take care of the client's needs. And it's not one size fits all. We have different types of clients, or customers in our case, guests.
Yeah, like I do. My preference is, but also I understand why why we should be moving to all digital side, all QR code, all digital board, because it's prehistoric to have that laminated menu, really, when everything is changing so quickly. But I'm kind of beating a dead horse here.
Well, the other thing that restaurants could do, if you don't have a printed menu, you actually supply and bring a tablet to the table, and here's your menu for those who may not want to use or can't use their device, and you still have the option. Even then, it's a little bit bigger, so they're easy. It's easy for them to find their way through it. And
Yeah, or
again, it's all about the customer experience. But I agree with where you're going with the digital side, how much flexibility there is that a printed menu just simply can't offer. And
Mhm.
so how do you manage to take care of the guest experience and also move towards that new technology that could be more efficient, provide better reports, more marketing initiatives, et cetera, et cetera.
well, there's more data to be collected when you have your customers interacting with your digital menu either on your phone or on say a tablet. You're collecting, you are able to see how many menu items get clicked, how often they're clicked.
What comes to mind, it's where I think I was thinking about when I said the transformation of the menu rather than the disappearance, is that, and funny, I have it right in front of me. I took a screenshot of part of their menu. They have it in print. It's a very long menu, like multiple pages, and the menu was a full experience. It's a Canadian franchise, but one of the things that really caught my attention that I started on the printed one, and then they took the menus away, and then I kind of like continued on it, and I was thinking, you know, there is a ways of creating a full experience even with the printed menu, even if I have the QR code also on the table. And so every item in the menu had a little legend at the end that was funny. So one, and I relate to this one, said face of fried pickle, blah 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 blah, the delicious description, and then at the end, comas save lives. For example, let's eat grandpa, or let's eat grandpa.
I've
And I
heard
was
this
like,
joke. That's actually one of my favorite jokes. Let's eat grandpa or let's eat grandpa.
exactly. So then I'm like basically just going through a very long menu, just finding the jokes and reading them out loud, generating an experience with the other people I was with, having fun, right? And at the same time reading all this, it was a full experience with the menu. So I went from one to the other, which I thought it's always fascinating because finally after many years QR codes are here to stay, it looks like.
They
Um,
are. They
and
absolutely are. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
so one of the things that you could have is playing with an experience, that where you have the physical menu and you have specific QR codes for each item that you can update and have a full experience with the pricing there as well, right, in the digital form. But one of the things that this is doing is giving you like literally almost what people are reading on. Like you have every reading of the QR code, incredible piece of information, of data that we have never really seen before,
Mhm.
especially for physical.
Alex?
Just a question, just carrying on the data, because I think for some restaurateurs, data sounds fantastic. I'm getting all this data, but then the question comes, what am I going to do with it? How do I get all this data? How do I extract it? And I want to just bring this out there to either one of you to answer, because I think there's a fear still. There's an excitement. There's an understanding that it's important, not necessarily an understanding of why it's important, but more importantly, now that I have it, what do I do with it? And I'm going to go to another part is, what do we do to help our customers use that data?
That's a really good question, and it's a dilemma of that has come through years and years. It's been always there, in the sense that from a bunch of numbers we get graphics. Oh, okay, right. From a bunch of graphics, you narrow it down to an understanding. So there's systems that then came up with ways of offering smart reasonings behind these graphics, helping make decisions so that you're more agile and you don't have to go through a course to understand it. And I think that what is the future of data for, and it's what I want in our marketing suite, is basically to bring out some of the fundamentals really clear, like a Coles note with three options of actions, potential actions, or recommendations to take. We already see this, like when you, if you have Google AdWords or some of these advertising platforms, where they give you recommendations. It's hard to trust them because you're like, oh, okay, maybe you're optimizing towards me giving you more money, but the recommendations are there. You can take them or not, right? So then I think that data can be taken down all the way to support the smart decisions, but most importantly, what are those smart business decisions that you could take so that then you can actually take action?
Yeah, just to build on that, Alex, statistics tell a story with some personalized information about your customers. It gives you a much clearer idea, but you're absolutely right. Too much data can overwhelm anyone. I don't care who you are.
We are inundated.
So I guess to like be specific, you get the data, and especially when it comes to the marketing side, because what I hear from a lot of restaurateurs would love to do this great program. I don't have the time, right? And they're stretched thin. So touching on the point that what do we do to help clients to eliminate some of that pain of not knowing what to do with it and realizing there's not a lot of work, but we can certainly help, right? We guide them in the right direction. We start to do a little bit of a mentorship, build a program that they can now take over and follow that is successful.
I'm gonna come back at you with a question though, Alex. We don't know what we don't know, right? Like you guys
Yeah.
always say. What are the most important metrics in your experience to a restaurant? But what are the highest level metrics that you look for if you're running a restaurant?
Well, I think in the past, it was always like, what's our menu mix, right? What am I selling so I can get the inventory that I need? What are my top selling items that create the highest profit margin, for example? What are the ones that are the lowest selling items that I can remove from my menu because they cost me money, but nobody's actually ordering them? Then it came into labor. So how can I manage my labor into my POS system or even manage my tables for reservations? So those are a lot of things that brought a lot of value. Now we're kind of going into a digital space where we're talking about consumer data and what we can do to market back to those consumers. And I think that's the newer part for hospitality. All the things I talked about, they've been around for years or decades. But we're going into a whole new era where we're capturing this information now that is really the buying habits of our customers. So I can tell you who our best customers are in particular, down to say a delinquent customer, someone who came and then they haven't come back for some time, based on the information that I'm getting from online ordering. In fact, if I went a step further and now say, well, we're doing this with delivery and we're doing this with table service, so taking the QR code that we talked about, now I place an order and the server brings it to my table, or I go to the bar to pick it up. Every time now I'm getting more and more data with each service that I'm adding on to my online platform. So not just thinking of it strictly, order ahead. It's order ahead. It's deliver ahead. It's order from your table. Think of golf courses. Think of in-room dining, pool service, all these other services that can be added. But what's the overall value? Think of big restaurants, how hard they have to work to get a customer, right? How much advertising they put out there. It's in the millions and millions, right? Hotel, same thing. Got to get your customer, got to get you as a guest. And then once they have some data, now they can start to market back to you in hopes to keep you coming back as a regular guest. So this is something that we can do, but we can do this as an economic value for anything from a small independent operator. But the same rules apply for a big chain, right? It's the same data. It's just multiplied many, many times.
I think segmentation is your best friend because you want to know who's ordering what at which location at which time and what menu items they're actually preferring, or how well your sides are doing, your upsells, all of these things. But coming back to how comfortable are you with the data, well, that comes down to the individual, right? So I would start off with high level metrics that you care about now, and then begin to conceptualize, how am I going to remarket to users who visited us 6 weeks in a row? We know you like the burger and fries combination. Why don't you try a root beer this time, and with some suggestive ordering or some remarketing through Facebook ads? There's endless opportunities there. But the problem here is these restaurants need to make some headway into remarketing to their customers.
Great. So next question coming back to you is, those who have followed your lead and put some marketing initiatives in place, what kind of results are they getting compared to those that are not? that you've worked with? And so maybe you've talked to them, but they just haven't implemented anything.
I mean,
Yeah, I know that's not it's not a cut and dry answer, but
No,
is it noticeable? Can you see the difference?
let me put it this way. To the organizations out there that are covering their bases with doing fundamental marketing activities across the main channels, those being email, social, SEO, and paid search. As long as they're covering their bases in some way, shape, or form across those channels, they will be successful. I can tell you that for sure. The issue here is that most, in my experience, most are not. They're playing around a little bit with social, they're playing around a little bit with email, but they're not covering all of their bases across all of these channels. This is where the engagement is happening. This is where the eyeballs are. This is where the attention is. You need to be visible. You need to be creating impressions across these channels, and you figure it out from there.
So a lot of these operators say they're just too busy or they don't have the resources to be able to do that, and the resources for them is usually time. Are there companies we can outsource that can take over that portion for the restaurant?
Look, I said it before, their marketers are a dime a dozen. If you want to go the agency route, there's lots out there. There's lots of really high quality, nimble, small agencies out there that can handle a restaurant's needs. There are freelancers out there that you can get to run some paid search campaigns. You can segment depending on the channel itself. There's a lot of different options to go. You could go out and hire a digital marketer that has a hospitality focus and bring them in-house, or you can bring someone to train your staff on how to leverage these channels, which is something that I do. Yes, there are really a lot of options. Jose, I'm sure you have something to say about this.
no, I think that like Gord was saying, so there's those that are doing something, are getting some results. But the most important part is that, it's one of my favorite things about marketing, is that with fine tuning, you get huge results. There are minimal changes, minimal actions that have incredible results. So hiring someone that understands that, and of course with the understanding, and you'll always hear me say, with measure return investment, whatever action you do, whatever integration technology you acquire, everything return investment, and you can see really amazing results. Like, it doesn't, you there's the pieces of technology that create all the difference in the world, and the beauty of this market is that it's so new. The online space for restaurants, and the technology space so new, that those that jump in now will get a huge advantage. And what is always blows my mind is that, and this is a topic from a previous podcast we did, is that they always wait for the big brands to do it, and then at the same time they think that, oh, that's what the big guys do. But like Gord said, online levels the playing. It's available to you too, and it's not that expensive, and it's not that difficult, and you can hire someone and you get results just like the big brands.
The return is there. And going back to the example of Chipotle's, I just wanted to point out, they are a success story. They had a really huge year. They grew something around 35% year over year, just in the second quarter. And I was poking around their Q2 earnings report, and I found out that 39% of their sales in Q2 were digital sales. Right, so fast approaching 50% of this massive chain's sales are going through first party. Third party is dwindling a little bit for them, but first party QR code ordering, it's happening through loyalty, which is incredibly valuable.
And digital.
There are reasons why these big brands are going all in on digital. And again, Jose was saying they're going all in for a reason, and it is available to the smaller chains out there, the independent operations as well. So it's there. The resources are there. There's lots of resources online. There's people like me out there, and Jose. We eat, sleep, live, and breathe digital, especially in the food commerce space, let's have a conversation for sure.
Yeah, how they say when you show a house to an architect, what they see, or to an engineer, tensions and pressures, it was similar. Like for me, it's like,
I
oh,
like that. I like that.
like boom, boom. Oh, amount of people, traffic, boom, online. If I go to a website, I'm just like, or a profile or a result, a search result. Right away, I'm like just like thinking about all the possibilities of what's been done and not done properly.
There's really a lot of growth for any budget size, in my opinion. There's tons of things that can be done, but the fundamental channels, the main channels need to be covered. They need to be looked at the very least in order to see growth digital and do digital well. It doesn't have to be a perfect science. Lord knows it's not. This was a spirited podcast. It's a good topic. I'm going to continue on investigating and looking at and experimenting with dynamic pricing, talking to restaurateurs and merchants about how they're adjusting their pricing, and are they going to keep physical menus, or are they going to go all digital? Who knows? But anyways, it's a really great topic, and as always, thank you guys for your insight. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and anyone and everyone who is checking us out, the Restaurant Growth Show podcast, every single Friday. Gentlemen, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bravelandia. Raise the roof.
Raise the roof. Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Again.